Welcome to the Chic Show. Chic, cheap, repeat. Today's playlist is Christ is Risen in celebration of Easter, hosted by Linda at FaithChick777 and Favi at Arrows DIY. For this video, I have 4 easy cross DIYs. Project number 1 is a Farmhouse Cross. I'm going to be using one of these light-up crosses from Dollar Tree, but I'm going to deconstruct it and remake it. I'm going to separate the cross so that we have a top and a bottom. The side pieces I'm going to remove and set aside, and the light I'm going to remove and set aside.
When the weight of the world keeps you up at night, when you're running with no end in sight, thought you would never find the light you love.
These beads are from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cut the strand of those, and I'm going to be gluing them around the outside of the bottom part of the cross.
You want to change the world, but you don't know where you should start. But you can't give your all unless...
Once I've glued the beads around the entire outside of the cross, I'm going to paint the bottom part and the beads with Waverly white chalk paint. I also painted the top of the cross.
Look up above, you will find
Now I'm going to glue the 2 pieces together.
yours. When the weight of the world keeps you up at night, when you're running with no end in sight.
Now I'm going to dry brush the cross with Waverly chalk paint in mineral.
You lost inside that you could find with Christ. Been running
Project number 2 is a cross wreath. I found this door wreath at a thrift store for $3.99. Although I do like the flowers in this wreath, it's very spring-like, I decided to remove all of those, and luckily they were not hot glued down, they were just stuck into the grapevine wreath. I used this ribbon from Walmart during Christmas to make a bow for the front of it to start with. I am certainly not a very good bow maker, but I am using strips and making loops and then just tying them together.
that you could find with Christ. If you're one with Christ.
Once I had 3 loops, I gathered it up in the middle and I tied it together.
My mama would say, you gotta fight for what is right.
Next, I cut and added a tail.
To her I would say, I wanna give back the world some light.
Once my bow is complete, I'm going to wire it onto the wreath.
I feel so alone, I forgot what I'm fighting for.
I'm not using hot glue on this wreath at all so that I can change it whenever I want. I'm going to be adding some of these magnolias. I'm going to wire them together and stick them right in the middle. And then I'm going to add some smaller white flowers towards the edges as well as greenery.
Lost inside that you could find with Christ.
I love the way this turned out and I can't wait to use it for Easter.
But you don't know where you should start. But you can't give your all unless you let God inside breaks your heart. Oh, when the road gets rough, just look up above. You will find God in.
Project number 3 is the old rugged cross. For this project, I'm using a cross from Dollar Tree. I'm also using this song, The Old Rugged Cross, from an old hymnal. Because I want the title of the song along the middle part of the cross, I did have to use another page out of the hymnal that was blank so that it would be the right shade. And I just tore along the edge so that I could place that above the title of the song and cover up the top of the cross. I've applied Mod Podge to the cross and I'm letting that dry, and now I'm applying a little bit of Mod Podge along that scrap piece of paper to apply to the top of the song. Once everything is dry, I'm going to use the iron-on method for Mod Podge, and I'm going to place my song sheet on top of the cross where I want it, cover it with some parchment paper, and then iron it on. The iron will reactivate the glue in the Mod Podge and cause the paper to stick. Now I'll cut away that excess paper and then I'll sand off the edges so we have a nice clean line. I wanted to add a crown of thorns, so I tried to come up with a way to make a crown of thorns, so I ended up using just the vine part from this pitberry vine from Dollar Tree. I hot glued it on top, and that was it. Project number 4 is a cross collage. For this project, I'll be using one of the wood crosses from Dollar Tree as well as a page out of an old hymnal. I'm just going to rip along the edges so there are no straight edges, and then I'm going to tear the piece into fairly large sizes. Now I'm going to arrange the pieces all over the cross just to make sure I have enough to cover it.
For what is right. To her I would say I wanted.
Working in sections, I'm going to Mod Podge each of the pieces of music to the cross.
But it's an empty road. I feel so alone. I forgot what I'm fighting.
Because the pieces of music will overlap, I do add more Mod Podge here and there.
The world keeps you up at night when you're running with no end in sight. Thought you would never find the light.
Once the cross is completely covered, I let it dry overnight.
That you could find.
This wood cutout is from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to give it a coat of Waverly in ink.
You wanna change the world, but you don't know where you should start.
Here it is the next day, and the cross is completely dry. I'm going to use my smaller scissors and cut off the excess paper. Then I'll use my finger sander and sand down those edges to get a clean line.
When the road gets rough, just look up above. You will find God in the stars. When the weight of the world keeps you.
I decided the edges needed black paint, so I went ahead and painted around all the edges with that Waverly ink.
Thought you would never find the
I wanted the word risen to stand out from the cross a bit, so I used one of the tumbling tower blocks and cut it with my miter shears. I also painted the small wood pieces with Waverly ink and then decided exactly where I wanted to place them so that I could glue them down.
If you wanna break through, you got to find your truth. When the weight of the world keeps you up at night, when you're running with no end inside,
And now it is ready for display.
the light you lost inside, that you could find with Christ. If you're one with Christ.
Thanks again to Linda and Favi for hosting this playlist. Be sure and check out their channels in the description box along with the playlist. Thanks so much for watching. Happy Easter. Bye now.